Hey, happy almost New Year. It's the tail end of December, so we thought we would put together a little ranking for you of all the golf courses that we played in 2020. We're gonna rank them from number 11 to number 1. We were only able to play 11 rounds of golf this year. Everything was shut down in April because of coronavirus, so let's jump right in. Number 11 for us is Irving Golf Club. I played this course by myself back in May, and I was only able to play the front 9 because the back 9 was closed due to flooding. I had heard when they renovated this course and changed it from Twin Wells to Irving Golf Club, I had heard that one of the big investments was a new irrigation and drainage system because the course would historically flood. And so I was disappointed when I got to this brand new renovated course that the back 9 was still having all these flooding issues. So the greens were great, the holes were fine, they weren't overly unique, there were a couple interesting ones, but the big disappointment here was that I paid full price and only got to play half the course. I mean, I played the front 9 2 times, but I didn't get to see what the back 9 looks like. My favorite hole from Irving Golf Club was this little par 4. There's a little dog leg left, a drivable par 4, and I almost got my drive up to the green here. Left myself just a little bit of a chip. I'm not the world's best driver, so a short par 4 is usually my best friend. This was a unique hole though. There was a little bit more movement in this hole and a little bit more intrigue than the rest of the holes on the front 9. Number 10 course on the channel was Riverchase in Coppell. Now, full disclosure, I grew up in Coppell, my wife grew up in Coppell, so I've played this course a lot over the years. There's just not a lot of memorability to this course. There's not a lot of holes that really stand out in your mind. There's a couple interesting ones. I think it's number 11 on the back is kind of an elevated tee box, and that's pretty cool. But for the most part, there's apartments on a lot of the holes, there's houses on a lot of the holes, and most of the holes are just kind of dead straight. So if you hit the ball straight, which we don't, this might be the course for you. And one of our favorite holes is this par 3 over this little valley. There's this big ditch that leads to an elevated green up here. It's the most interesting par 3 on the course, to be sure. We were able to get a tee shot up there on the green. I've played this course as a scramble with my wife Lauren, and we were on the green and 2-putt par.
Great putt.
Number 9 course is Riverside in Arlington. This is a great course. I love the uniqueness of some of the holes, especially the first hole. There's a par 3 on the back, which is really cool. Very similar to that par 3 at Riverchase, where you kind of go over a big ravine to an elevated green. But this course is kind of falling apart a little bit. There were holes where there was basically like caution tape, like police tape, along the sides of the tee boxes and even like behind the greens because I'm not sure what river it is, a branch of the Trinity, who knows. There's a river that runs through the course and it's kind of eroding away some of the tee boxes and some of the grounds there on the course. The chipping area next to the driving range is super tiny. The putting area is nice, and then the clubhouse is nothing to write home about either. So it just seemed like a very old course, kind of falling apart, but there are some unique holes here at Riverside. My favorite hole on this course is actually number 1. You got this tee shot here, which has water left and right. You kind of go over this little pathway bridge. The water's not really in play because it's kind of a short par 4. So as long as you hit your driver up in the air, you're good. But the look of it is just really cool. So I was able to get close to the green in 2, and then I had this really terrible putt for birdie, and then I missed it by a lot coming back for par. So I actually bogeyed this hole when I played it, but it's a fun way to start. You see some of the water, which kind of gets you ready for the rest of the course. All right, the number 8 course for us on the channel was the Lakes course at Firewheel in Garland. The course was fun. We enjoyed our round out there. The facilities were not really anything to write home about. The clubhouse especially, perhaps it's undergoing a renovation. It looked very temporary, the way that it was set up right now. That might just be due to COVID. But some of the areas around the clubhouse didn't seem so nice. It was a difficult course to walk. We walked this course and it was a little bit of a challenge. There were some long holes here, but overall it was a good value and a decent course. Our favorite hole here at Firewheel, the Lakes course, was actually number 1, just the same as at Riverside. It's this big, it's like a 90-degree dog leg right. So you have to hit like a 5-iron or a 4-iron off the tee, and then you're left with this downhill like 100-yard chip. Played here with my wife Lauren. We were able to get close to the green in 2, and then thankfully we up and down here for par.
Yeah, that's all you, man.
All right, number 7 on the course might seem like it's really ranked high, but it's Tennyson Glen down in Dallas. This is one of the old Dallas courses. It's a City of Dallas municipal course. Tennyson Glen was in rough shape, no doubt. Like the tee boxes were kind of junky, the greens were not rolling very well, but the course is so old and quirky and interesting. We just had a blast playing this course. It was so strange. The greens are super tiny, like some of those old golf courses can be. They were elevated greens, so if you didn't hit the green, you kind of got punished and the ball would roll away. It was a really challenging course for us. We ended up shooting 9 over par as a scramble pairing that day. But something about the old kind of historic value of this course just grabbed our attention. There were a lot of drivable par 4s, but again, you're driving into a small green. So there was a lot of risk and reward and a lot of strategy on this course. We're really excited to come back out to Tennyson Park, maybe in 2021, and we'll play the Highlands course. There are 2 courses at Tennyson. The Glen is the not so nice course. It was $12 for us to play, and the Highlands is a little bit more expensive, and it's supposedly in better condition. So we're excited to check that out. Our favorite hole here was, I believe, number 5. A little par 4 over the water. You've got water left, you've got the bridge, and then you've got more water right. I ended up putting my drive way right in the water. This is the view from the ladies' tees, the forward tees here. Lauren goes left, but she is safe. We have to just kind of punch out of the trees and try to scramble up and down for a par. You can see the tee box behind us here in this shot. You basically start at that elevated tee box and you go all the way down the hill to try to get to this green. So there were a lot of holes at Tennyson Glen that looked like this. Just kind of a strange, quirky vibe. All right, number 6 for us is Lake Park Golf Club in Lewisville, Texas. We've played this course a lot over the years, and while this is not the most interesting course, and it's certainly not the most challenging course, it's one of the most fun courses to play, especially if you're a high handicapper and you need some help working on your driver or working on, hitting off the tee box. There are basically no trees on this course that really come into play, and there's not a ton of water. Despite the name Lake Park, there's really not that much water on this course, so you can kind of step up and just hit driver off of every tee. This is an awesome, awesome course to play if you've got someone who's new to the game or if you're getting back into the game after being off for many years. Lake Park is a very drivable course where you can just kind of grip it and rip it. And on top of that, the conditions were good. For when we played in August, the course was green and healthy. Pace of play was quick. It's an easy course to walk as well. It's nice and flat. Our favorite hole has to be number 8 on the front 9. You've got this tee box that kind of has to go over water. But again, it's kind of a drivable par 4, so the water tempts you to really go for it. We played this round with my brother Jason. My wife Lauren and I played with Jason here. He got us in the fairway, and then I ended up putting this approach shot from about 80 yards, pretty close, and we tapped in for birdie. Lovely little hole.
And the crowd goes mild.
It's a free house for you, Jim. All right, number 5 is Cheryl Park in Richardson. Course number 2, they have a course 1 and a course 2, so 36 holes there. The practice facilities are large and nice. Pace of play was quick. The quality of the course, the conditions of the course was pretty high. Interesting holes on this course. Just kind of overall a solid course to play. Nothing especially to write home about, but nothing to complain about. We really enjoyed our time at Cheryl Park. We have played course 1, and I'll say that course 2, we definitely prefer course 2 to course 1. Here's one of our favorite holes from Cheryl Park course 2. It's a little par 4, through the trees, down the hill from an elevated tee box. Played here with my brothers, Michael and Jason. Jason got us close to the green here.
I did it!
We go for the bump and run, which was something we had been talking about all day, and then just a nice little 2-putt par. But that tee shot from that elevated tee box down to the green, pretty exciting. All right, number 4 is the Lakes course at Indian Creek in Carrollton. This is another course like Cheryl Park. They have 2 18-hole courses there, the Creek and the Lakes. The Lakes is a little bit cheaper, but it was in great condition. I played here with my wife Lauren, and we had a great time. There are a lot of interesting holes on this course that move one way and then move another, kind of like double braking kind of holes. And the conditions are always nice here. The driving range is always nice. You've got a big chipping area. You've got a big putting area. The chipping area doesn't really have like a green that really rolls out. It's kind of like a big open space, which I actually kind of like. It forces you to kind of pick your target as you're warming up. The clubhouse is nice. They also have, I think, those like 2-wheel motorcycle golf carts if you want to rent one of those things and kind of have a blast going around the course. But we loved playing at Indian Creek. We'll go out and play the Creek course hopefully sometime in the near future. This par 4 stood out in our mind. It's very similar to the opening hole at Firewheel, the Lakes course. It's a dogleg right, almost like a 90-degree turn. So you just hit like a little iron off the tee. You leave yourself about 100 or 120 yards down the hill into this green. And this was actually a hole where we made a very nice birdie putt. All right, time for the podium. Coming in at number 3 is Ridgeview Ranch in Plano. This is a course I've played probably 6 or 7 times. I'm not sure what it is I really like about this course, other than the fact that every hole seems to be different than the one before it. There's not really any holes that like go back to back, like they pass each other, like you go down. Number 2 and number 3 kind of do that, but other than that, every hole kind of snakes its way in a different direction. Ridgeview Ranch has a really nice putting facility, a really nice driving range. Their chipping area is nice too. It's kind of off to the side and secluded. And their clubhouse is nice as well. Again, you know, we're not the pickiest of golfers, but there wasn't much that we didn't like about Ridgeview Ranch. All right, one of my favorite holes here is on the back nine. It's a par 4 with a split fairway. You can go left or right. If you go left, it's a more direct line to the green, but if you go too long, as I did here, you end up in the mounds of doom. So that's where I ended up. But this is a great little hole. You can really hit driver here and go for it, or you can hit a hybrid. I think that's what I hit. It's just kind of an open hole where you can just get close to the green and then a nice 2-putt par. All right, the number 2 course for us is Luna Vista, formerly LB Houston. This is another one of those City of Dallas municipal courses, or at least it used to be. There have been a lot of renovations to this course. It's looking pretty nice. They've changed some of the hole designs. I played this course a lot in high school, so I'm pretty familiar with this course, but it's a good mix of open and narrow. The front nine is pretty open. You can kind of hit wherever you want. The back nine gets a little bit tighter, and there's some par 5s too, where if you hit a decent drive, a straight drive, you can really get to the green, but the back nine really challenges you to keep your ball in play. By far my favorite hole on this course is number 11. It's a par 5. It kind of snakes off to the right, snakes left, and then comes back to the right again. If you don't hit your ball in the fairway, you're in big trouble on this hole. So I hit a little 4-iron off the tee, and then I hit another 4-iron, just try to get close to the green, and then I end up actually chipping this fairly close and putting in for birdie. But I love the strategy at Luna Vista. It's always risk and reward. Do you take driver? Do you take iron? Something like that. And the number 1 course for us on the channel this year was Frisco Lakes, which is funny. It was the very first course that was on the channel this year. We played this way back in January. This was the first round of golf I had played in several months, so I was definitely rusty. But Frisco Lakes had great conditions, great practice facilities, made it really easy to get loose and kind of find my swing again before I teed off. The fairways are nice and wide. It's in a really nice community for, I think it's for like an older population, so it's kind of got like a easygoing like resort kind of feel to it. But then there's also some really challenging holes. You've got an island green par 3, which we'll see here in a minute. You've got some kind of more wooded areas on the back nine where you've got to be a little bit more precise. But yeah, Frisco Lakes, the clubhouse is nice and new. Everything seemed fresh and well kept. Really enjoyed my round out here, and maybe we'll come back to Frisco Lakes sometime in the future. And then as I mentioned, that island par 3, I think it was only about 130 yards, but yeah, I mean, it's not every day you get the chance to play a hole like this. I barely got onto the dry land here, so the camera angle had to be really weird. I was balancing the camera on the edge of the lake there. But what a great hole. Just try to get it somewhere up there and 2-putt for par. I ended up 3-putting here for bogey. But yeah, there you go. So there it is, our 2020 course rankings from 11 to number 1. I will say, even numbers 11, 10, 9, I would go out and play those courses again in a heartbeat. I'm not a picky golfer. I'm not nearly a good enough golfer to be picky. But just in terms of the intrigue and the memorability of some of these courses, that is our ranking for the year. Keep an eye on the channel. We've got a lot more videos coming up in 2021, and we're also going to put together a top 10 shots of the year for 2020, and that video will be coming out very soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.